baby. For me, your man, Louie T. Welcome to this LouieTeeNetwork exclusive Week 13 in the National Football League kickback session. I apologize for the tardiness. I was on another stream, and I wanted to hang in there as long as I could. I didn't want to jump out at on them, but no worries. We're here. We'll knock this out real quick. So we're gonna start off the night with the survivor pool, and we lost another one, man. So I mean, shit's getting tight now. I mean, I'm excited. I can't lie. I'm excited about the survivor pool because it's down to the final two now. So let's take a look at the two participants that remain. First of all, let's mourn the loss of BB, right? BB was hanging in there with Mike Lowry and Bronco Billy. Unfortunately, BB took the Kansas City Chiefs, and I thought they were going to beat Green Bay. I thought it was a great pick by BB, but unfortunately, that's the way the cookie crumbles with this survivor pool. Nobody's safe. And Mike Lowry took the Chargers. He was sweating it out. And I talked about it last week. Like, oh, man, it sucks having to pick the Chargers. But he picked the Chargers. They got it done 6-0. It doesn't matter how it looks, just as long as it's a dub. And Bronco Billy took the Buccaneers over the Panthers, and they got it done for him. So now and then they were two. It's just two people, man. And what essentially you two have done is effectively you've guaranteed that somebody's walking away with some bread, right? Either you guys can both split along with the house if you both, because I think it's going to be over next week. I don't think we're going to have another week after this week in terms of the survivor pool. I think it's over this week. Either both of you are getting eliminated or one of you is getting eliminated and somebody's walking away with $1,220. If not, you split it three ways. Either way, you're coming away with something, right? One of you is guaranteed to come away with something. We'll see what happens. Either one person is getting 1220 or you're splitting, 1223 ways. Either way, you're getting something. But who doesn't want the whole shebang? You come this far, you want the whole pot, and it's right there in front of you. You are close enough to reach out and grab it. You just got to make another good pick. I'm telling you, this is it. We're not coming back next week with another, two people still left. Somebody's getting eliminated, if not both. I firmly believe that. Mike Lowry, Bronco Billy, hell of a season. This is the longest I've seen a survivor pool go on with this many people. And so I think this is it. I think this is the week. Moment of truth. Do you have another one in your back pocket? Bronco Billy, Mike Lowry, what a job you've done. BB, hell of a run, but it has come to an end. We'll see if these two guys can get it done once again next week and extend it out another week. So that is the survivor pool. Just two guys left, Bronco Billy and Mike Lowry. May the best man win. All right. So we will now get to the weekly pick'em and take a look at that. And so weekly pick'em was interesting this week. Bronco Billy kind of won it. So Bronco Billy is hot right now. Remember at the beginning of the year that Bronco Billy could do nothing right? Remember that? Anything that had Bronco in it was struggling to start the season off. But Bronco Billy is hot right now. He's got a chance to win the survivor pool. He won the weekly pick'em pool this week. He had 3 losses, and I don't think anybody else had 3. I think he won this one outright. I think the next closest was 4. I had 4. I think 2 other people had 4, but nobody else had 3. So he took care of business and got it done. And so $70 is coming your way, Bronco Billy. Congratulations for getting the job done. And I got to get me at least 1 or 2 more. I've only won once this year, which is really low for me. Usually I win 5 or 6 of these, but I can say that there's been a lot more people playing this year, which is good. This is what I want. And so I can't catch a break this year, man, for whatever reason. I just can't catch a break, but that's how it goes, man. I don't trip about it. Shout out to Bronco Billy for getting it done. And you will be receiving your bread here shortly. All right. And now, last but not least, we will get to the granddaddy of them all, the winners and losers league. And we'll take a look at this. So before we get to winners and losers this week, I want to go back to last week and take a look at the color from last week. Just real quick, a lot of color last week, right? We had three people tied for second. We had three people tied for third, three people tied for second, and two people tied for first. That was last week, right? We had 4 people with the high watermark record last week. So as you can see, and then we had Rich, we just had one person with the piss cup. So as you can see, a lot of color, man. We too late in the season for this shit. Too much color here for me, right? This is more my speed right here. Ain't no color. It's just first, 1 second, 1/3. All right. We ain't got 8 people tied for third and 6 people tied for second and 2 people tied for first. Nah. First, second, third. That's it. All right. That's where we at with ours right now. So as you can see, a lot of people fell off this week. And honestly, this was an easy week. You know, I had 6 losses. Most people automatically had 3 losses because you lost the Cincinnati game, Jacksonville game rather, on Monday night. You probably lost the Steelers game. You didn't pick Arizona. Most people didn't. And you probably lost the Chiefs game with Green Bay, right? So that's 3 losses right there. Anything after that, you were being special. I know I was being special. And again, if you lost the Eagles game, that was a flip 'em, right? That's a coin flip game. You can go either way on that one. And there were several others that you could view in that light. Tennessee, Indianapolis. I had Tennessee. I was on the wrong side of that, right? Tennessee should have won the game and missed an extra point. Yada, yada. I mean, I could talk your head off, but the Jets lost 13-8. Right? I went out on a limb there, and I didn't mind. I knew what I was getting myself into. And then Denver, Houston was a coin flip game. You were either on the right side or the wrong side of that. But for the most part, the rest of these games, I mean, Tampa and Carolina, I was being special. Panthers fired their coach. So you know the rules. I don't make them. I just follow them, right? But everybody picked Tampa. Everybody's picking Miami over the Commanders. Everybody's picking the Chargers over the Patriots. Everybody's picking the Lions over the Saints. Like, these weren't hard games. Everybody picked Dallas over Seattle. So there were a ton of games where just take your win, right? Don't be special. Don't go out of your way. Just take your win. And we thought we were doing the same thing with the Steelers, with the Chiefs, and the Jags, and it didn't work out that way. But this easily could have been a 1-2 loss week had Pittsburgh and Kansas City and Jacksonville taking care of business. So this is an easy week. That said, Smack City went 10-3, which that's really what you should have gone. If you didn't do anything crazy, if you just followed the script, 10-3 is what you probably should have done this week. And again, it's easy to end up on the wrong side of Colts Titans. It's easy to end up on the wrong side of, San Francisco, Philadelphia. Rams and Browns was one that might have tricked some people up. I think most people understood the situation at quarterback for the Browns, but Flacco actually played well. But I mean, this was a pretty easy week, honestly speaking. So 10-3, that's the best record I think Smack City's had in about almost a month. He's been struggling, but it's really nice when you're struggling and you're still in first place. And now he's reasserted himself as the lone first place participant because Soul, who was tied for first last week, went 8-5, right? So he falls back 2 games behind the leader in the clubhouse, Smack City. And then Coop, who was tied for, I want to say he was tied for second last week, falls back to third, going 10-3. Okay, so he had a really good week. And he actually closed the gap on second place, Soul, right? So Coop is hung around, but I think everything's getting condensed now. Like, the people that actually have a chance to win this thing, the numbers are shrinking, there's probably only maybe 10 of you who have a realistic shot at winning this thing. And you got to be your best from here on out. These final 5 weeks, you got to be your best. And you can't be afraid to go out on a limb, but you got to be calculated in the risk that you're willing to take. This is coming. I can speak my shit here. I'm a 2-time champ. So I can tell you how to get it done down the stretch. We'll see what happens. It just hasn't been a good year for me in particular, but I thought I had a hell of a sheet this week. I felt like I was killing the game. After the Jets got that safety, I was like, oh yeah, I'm about to win that shit. I looked at the Titans, they were up 17-7. I'm like, yeah, I'm about to do it this week. I just can't catch a break. Can't catch a break. So let's go through the list real quick, see what everybody did. We just talked about Coop going 10-3. Silver V went 9-4. So he stays within striking distance. Like Silver V has a shot at 124 and 69. Now he's still 7 games off of the pace in first place, but with 5 weeks to go, 7 is not hard to make up. But you just got to be airtight, essentially. Red Ball Manders 1, 2, 3, 4, 9-4 for Red Ball Manders. Sundi 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8-5 for Sundi. Daywalker 1, 2, 3, 10-3 for Daywalker. Twin D 1, 2, 3, 4, 9-4 for Twin D. He's actually had a really strong year. In Your Gym 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8-5 for In Your Gym. Mike Jink 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8-5. Tiffany, his fiance, 1, 2, 3, 4. So she gained another game on him, going 9-4. He went 8-5. She was already up 1 game, so now it's a 2-game cushion for Tiffany over Mike Jink. And I mean, still plenty of time. Just stay close, right? But I know Mike Jink, my guy Mike Jink. Shout out to Mike. Probably out there sweating a little bit. Walt 260. 1, 2, 3, 4, 9-4 for Walt 260. Kevin the PRF, who was in, I want to say, 2nd place last week. And he had was one of the high water marks. Or as we like to say, he was one of the best performers of last week. 1, 2, 3, 4, 9-4 for Kevin the PRF, which drops him back to now 4th place behind Coop's 127. So he's still within striking distance. Greg Giants 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 9-4 for Greg Giants 10. Big Baller Blake 1, 2, 3, 10-3. So that's a really good week for Big Baller Blake. And again, at 126, 1 game behind 3rd. So again, 5 out of 1st place, right there within striking distance, right? Boss man, it's just been a miserable year for him and myself. I think he went 9-4, rather 1, 2, 3, 4, 9-4. That's a good week for him. With the way things have been going this year, at 9-4 is a really good week for him. I as I mentioned, I went 7-6. I did not have a great week, but I went out on a limb. Titans, they should have won though. That one sucks. Jets, I knew what I was doing. They just didn't get it done. Steelers, Chiefs, Jags, everybody got that one. The Panthers won. They were right there too, man. But I take mine on the chin. That's 7-6 for me. Ricky D Hustle 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Somebody has said to me, they saw my picks and they were like, dude, you might be sipping from the piss cup. And I was like, nah, I know what I'm doing. First of all, you'll never catch me slipping like that. But even when I go out on a limb, I do it calculated wise. I do it in a calculated manner that I should never be on the hook for the piss cup. I knew somebody was going to have 7 or 8 losses or even 9 this week, even though it was an easy week. Because now you're at the point of the season where people get desperate. I've done this enough times to know. Now people trying to make up ground. Like, you can't force it, right? Yeah, you're trailing, but you're not going to catch up by making frivolous picks, by just picking random teams and hoping they win. That's not how you get back in the game. But I know people are going to do that. They're like, what I got to lose? That's how you end up. 8 games is what you got to lose. So the piss cup is what you got. You stand to gain, right? But I digress. Ricky D Hustle, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8 and 5 for Ricky D Hustle. J Cam, man, I think he was either in second or third. I think he was tied for second last week. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So a rough week for J Cam, man. 8 and 5. That drops him back to 125. So yeah, he would have been right in that mix in second place last week. So he takes a step back, but he's still within striking distance. Only 6 games out of first place. Media Truth. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, yeah, we're just gonna go ahead and put the piss cup on him for now. We'll see if it stands, but that's brutal. With a 13-game schedule, you lose 8 games. That's absolutely brutal for Media Truth. We'll see if that stands. Rich, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8 and 5 for Rich, and he came close in that Seattle game, didn't he? That would have been a big one for him. Bronco Kid, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for Bronco Kid, 8 and 5. Mike Lowry, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 for Mike Lowry, 7 and 6. Major Tutty, 1, 2, 3 for Major Tutty, 10 and 3. That's a good mark. Tyrant 78, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8 and 5 for Tyrant 78. 100 grand. It started out as a good week. You see all this white, but he got nasty late. Carolina, Browns, Chiefs, Jags 4. So 9 and 4 for 100 grand. King of the North, 1, 2, 3, 4. 9 and 4 for King of the North. Big time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 7 and 6 for big time. Navy Ramjet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 7 and 6 for Navy Ramjet. We already saw Bronco Billy win weekly pick 'em pool with 3, so we know he's 10 and 3. Samuel Pando, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 8 and 5 for Samuel Pando. I just admire Samuel's persistence. A lot of people would have quit by now, and this might be Sam's first time doing this. If it is, excellent. You're growing, you're learning. If it's not, he still ain't quit. I can admire that because I've done this so many times. And once somebody know they don't have a chance to win or they're getting their ass whooped, they just stop sending in picks. They just give up. I can't stand quitters, but it is what it is. I like his persistence. Mr. HTTR, 1, 2, 3, 4, 9 and 4. Cody, 1, 2, 3, 4, 9 and 4. HTTR Carson, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8 and 5. Derek B, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8 and 5 for Derek B this week. Juice, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Juice don't have the juice, but he ain't got the piss cup though. Bet the Board, 1, 2, 3, 4, 9 and 4 for Bet the Board. We did Smack City and it's 10 and 3 this week. Gridiron King was tied for third last week. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8 and 5. That'll knock you back a peg or two. Metaphor, 1, 2, 3. So 10 and 3 week for Metaphor. Hype Do, 1, 2, 3, 4, 9 and 4 for Hype Do. Soul, we talked about Soul going 8 and 5 and falling back to second place. Rick the Ruler, 14, 1, 2, 3, 4, 9 and 4 for Rick the Ruler, 14. Jordan Jones, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8 and 5 for Jordan Jones. And Dandrix, 1, 2, 3, 4, 9 and 4 for Dandrix. So let's go through our high point performers of the week. And I think those are all that have 10 and 3. I don't think anybody went 11 and 2 this week. It was almost impossible with the Steelers, Chiefs, and Jags all losing. That pretty much did in anybody with a 2 loss, right? Because if you didn't pick one of those, if you picked the opposite of one of those teams, then that means you did something foolish somewhere else along the way. Those weren't games you were supposed to lose, essentially. Maybe the Green Bay one, with the way they're playing, with the way the Chiefs are playing, you could argue, but you should have lost 3 games at least. So, Coop, high point performer. We got a bunch of them too, so you got to bear with me as I find all of them. Daywalker, high point performer. Let's see. Big Baller Blake, I think he did it. He did. Big Baller Blake, high point performer. Let's see. I think we got about 2 or 3 more dudes or players that ended up at 10-3. Bronco Billy, we know he did it, but we'll get to him. I don't want to skip over nobody. Major Tutty did it, 10-3. Bronco Billy, we know he did it. Smack City, we know he did it. Metaphor, he did it as well. And that might be it. It is. So shout out to all of the high point performers of week number 13, Metaphor, Smack City, Bronco Billy, Major Tutty, Big Baller Blake, Daywalker, and Coop. And unfortunately, Media Truth, I told you, man, you got to stop lying out here in these streets, man. The media is a lie, but you're supposed to be bringing truth. These picks were not the truth. And for that, step forward. You know what it is. Go ahead, take a knee. Got that fresh batch of piss straight out of the urinary tract, nice and hot for you. Go ahead and handle that however way you want to take care of it, man. Do your thing. But we're going to congregate amongst ourselves. You take care of the piss. I'll check in on you to make sure you're good. And then we're going to come back and check your progress out. All right. So that, my friends, are your week 13 LTN exclusives. Make sure you get your picks in. I can't stress that enough. You guys have been doing an excellent job, other than Thanksgiving weekend, which we knew was going to be problematic. For those of you that are participating in the weekly pick'em pool this week, keep in mind there are 2 Monday night games that will be played simultaneously this week. We want the point total from the Dolphins-Titans game, and I made sure I put that on the sheet so you could see it. We do not want the point total combined from the Packers-Giants game. We expect that to be extremely low. We want the fun game, the one that's going to actually have points scored. So Titans and Dolphins game are the combined points for the Monday night tiebreaker. Just keep that in mind. But we're getting close to that point of the season where we're going to start getting Saturday games. And we're going to start to get these, weird setups. Like we got 2 Monday nighters this week. So, yeah, that's when we're getting towards the end. And it's crazy, man. It feels like the season just started like a month ago. And here we are talking about week 14, last round of bye weeks. And then down home stretch we go as we wrap up the regular season. So let's get to the comment section. And see what you guys have to say. Coop writes, 10-3, easy week if you played it safe, but I'm gonna have to start taking some risks here soon if I want to catch Soul and Smack City. Be calculated in your risk, right? Like you picking stuff just to go opposite of them isn't going to help you catch them if that's not what you truly believe is going to take place. Risky behavior is fine if it's risky behavior that you can justify. All right. But continue to do that. That's what got you here, is doing the smart thing. Okay. So continue to do that. Maybe mix in, but you got to see the upset coming, but just continue to do the smart thing. That's what's gotten you to where you are, and you've been pretty consistent this season. So don't go crazy now and find yourself, 8 games back because you decided to get freaky down the stretch, right? HTTR Carson, right? It's a nice CNN video today, and Tone Stream was fun. I appreciate that, man. I appreciate that a lot. Thank you so much for the support, HTTR Carson. JK Man, 99. Thank you for the comment. He writes, the Broncos and Eagles broke me this week. Though I went with the Colts and Rams when I wanted to do Titans and Browns, so it kind of averaged out, but everyone picked Texans and 49ers. So the Broncos and the Eagles broke you this week. Those were coin flip games, along with the Titans game was another coin flip game. There weren't a lot of those this week, though. There were 13 games in total, and I would deem the Titans and Colts, the Broncos and Texans, the Niners and Eagles, and probably I want to say Falcons, Jets, but that really wasn't a coin flip. Right? People thought that the Falcons were going to win. I think those are the only 3 coin flip games, really, of week 13. Everything else was, you pretty much thought you knew, right? You knew the Dolphins were beating the Commanders. You knew that the Lions were going to beat the Saints. You knew that the Cowboys were going to beat the Seahawks. I mean, these ended up, some of these games ended up being close, but you knew Tampa Bay was going to beat Carolina, right? Most people felt like the Falcons were going to beat the Jets. So, when it's all said and done, you thought you knew, but as the NFL proves to us every week, you have no idea. You have no idea. Broncos and Texans was a coin flip, and so was Colts Titans. Yeah, those are 2 of the 3. And I would also include in that mix 49ers Eagles, because you didn't know. You thought the 49ers could go in there and win, but it's hard to turn down a 10-1 team as well. Jacob Cortez writes, who would you take in the first round, and do you think a trade back is in play? Trade back is always in play. This depends on where they end up and what's on the board at the time of their pick. If you love a guy, you're not trading back. You're going to take that guy. If let's say you made a list of, you got the 6th pick in the draft, and you made a list of 6 guys, but there are only 2 guys on that list that you would be willing to take. Under no circumstances would you consider a trade, right? And those 2 guys are gone. Now the phone lines are open and you're listening. If one of those 2 guys is there, there's nothing to talk about. You're making a selection. So it just all depends on, where you sit, how much do you value that particular player, and do you believe trading back is worth, missing out and passing up on the opportunity to select said player, right? As far as who would I take in the first round, I don't know if I have a specific position in mind yet, or specific player rather, because I haven't done any film study. So I don't want to sit here and give you this or that. My thing is I watch the games. I can't give you anything until I get into the film study. That's going to start a lot sooner for me this year, though. Clearly, with where Washington is, probably going to start a little bit sooner for me this year than most. All right. So that's the last comment. Hey, how you coming with that piss, Media Truth? Let me see what you got in that cup, man. Hey, you ain't even done nothing, man. It was too warm. Man, if you don't drink that piss and stop playing, man, go ahead and knock that thing back. We about to get out of here. You playing around. Go ahead, man. Nah, I ain't leaving this time. Go ahead and drink that stuff, man. You did it. You had 8 losses, not me. Go ahead. Uh-huh. Yeah. Keep going. Don't stop. It's easy if you just knock it all back. Uh-huh. Go ahead. There you go. Nah, it's still a little corner in there. Go ahead. Not yet. There you go. All right. Get out of here, man. Taking all day to drink that piss. People kill me. Don't want to drink the piss, but they want to make the picks that lead them to the piss cup. You can't have it both ways. Either make better picks so you don't have to drink piss, or meet your demise. Anyway, I digress. That's going to do it for me, your man Louie T, here on Week 13's kickback session. I'll be back here, or excuse me, Week 14's kickback session. We'll be back again next week to break it all down. We got 2 people left, 2 participants left in the survivor pool, and then there were 2. I am excited, like I'm one of the 2. I'm excited. I think this thing's going to be over next week. I'm going to be anxious to see what teams are selected and see how this thing goes. I think it's over next week. I really do. But again, we will see. In any event, get your picks in on time. The sheets are already up and available. And we'll come back and we'll do this again next week. Hopefully a little bit earlier on Tuesday. You know, I had some other obligations. Hopefully we'll be able to get into the mix a little bit sooner next week. But either way, hopefully we'll be back here next Tuesday. If not Tuesday, you know it'll be Wednesday. But we'll be back, kicking back again next week. Until then, you guys, take care. Have a good one. God bless. Good night.